Hey guys, I'm Chuck, and those are my Charlie cards. And these right here, these are my fancy Charlie chips. In the town I live in, we have a happy face mode right into the side of a hill. That's why this is Happy Face Holdem. The goal, log 500 hours of 2-3 no limit Holdem and have more Charlie chips at the end of the session than we started with. Let's get into the action. Hey guys, welcome back to Happy Face Holdem. This is part 2 of last week's vlog of our Thursday home game. That field with the cows in it, by the way, that's where we do our family photo sessions, and I'll share some of that with you later. But tonight we're going to be sniffing out some BS. Looking down in middle position with ace 10 suited. This is a great hand to open the action with. So we have 2 limpers to us, and we're going to open the action to a raise, $15. This is a great hand. Suited ace is always a good hand to open the action with. Maybe in middle position, this is a light open. But either way, we're going to narrow the field down, several folds, and we're going to come back around, and we'll get one caller, and we're going to go heads up to the flop with $35 in this pot. I think this plays a lot better heads up, especially in position. So the flop comes down 7, king, 10, 2 clubs and 1 heart on the board, flop middle pair, and a backdoor flush draw. That's good enough to continue for $15, and that's going to get the job done. So happy to continue our stack growth, stack up those Charlie chips, and move on to the next hand. All right, the very next hand under the gun, I look down at the same exact 2 cards, ace 10 of hearts yet again. So under the gun, early position, I'm going to make the open to $10. I didn't have any limpers ahead of me this time, so I'm okay to play this multi-way. This is a pretty easy hand to navigate post-flop. Plus, I can represent every ace, every king, aces, kings, and queens on the flop. From an early position open, it typically shows strength. So Miracle Mike down at the end on the button, he's going to call for 10. Any 2 Dave over here to my right, he's going to make the call, and we're going to go 3 ways to a $31 flop. That comes down 9, jack, king, rainbow. Pretty connected board. I've heard from a lot of you in the comments that my bet sizing's too small. I need to make some polarizing bets. I hope that this session continues, and I hope you guys stick with me for the rest of the video. There's 2 monster hands that are coming up that I'm excited to share. You know, of course, we love sharing the wins more than the losses. They both happen. Not trying just to show the good stuff, but this was really a good session after my last one. So I'm in the big blind. I looked down at 5-7 offsuit. There was a raise from the hijack player, I believe it was, for $5. A couple limpers after that. So even with this horrible 1 gapper, not even suited, I'll put the call in. You know, we just won a couple hands. This was 3 hands later, so what the heck, let's go for it. Anyways, for 5 ways to the flop, comes down 8, 9, 10. Wow, is that not a wet board? All right, Raisin Randy over here puts in a bet for 5. I call, player after me calls, original raiser calls, and we're going to go 4 ways to the turn, which comes down to the jack of spades. So, you know, here I'm open-ended. That's why I decided to come along, and I hit the bottom of it now. But this board's getting pretty wet. Anyway, so I take a stab at it with 45 in the pot. I'm going to put out a 3rd size bet, $15. Maybe I can get some folds to happen. I do, of course, have to be afraid of any queen. And although this was a raised pot, it was a minimal raise, so I'm treating it as a limp pot. You know, most likely this is just a throwaway bet. You know, it's a feeler bet. I want to see where I'm at, and we're going to find out. So next player decides to call. Miracle Mike calls, and we do lose Raisin Randy. So now we're 3 ways to the river, which completes the straight on the board. I'm going to check, of course, because I don't have a king. Either one of these guys could easily hold a king or rep a king, and I imagine that I had an opportunity to rep a king, but again, with the pre-flop action, I don't think anybody's holding a king. We all turn over our cards, and we are going to chop this up 3 ways. This would have been one of those spots where I should have made a huge bet, fold everybody out, and avoid the chop. I'm going to learn as I go. Hey guys, if you haven't done so already, this is a great time to stick with me. Smash that like button. It really helps out the channel a ton. Don't forget, while you're down there, hit subscribe and hit the little notification bell. That way you're notified when I drop new content. We're over 700 subscribers now, making our run to 1,000, and I greatly appreciate it. Please stick with me to the end of this vlog. Looking down from the small blind in the next hand, I look down at pocket ladies. Gotta love the queens, especially when the players ahead of me are going to take care of the raising action. Early player makes it $7. There's 2 limpers, and I have to decide what a good raise is here. I think I make a horrible mistake by only making it 35 on top. I should have gone much bigger here, especially with the raise and the limp ahead of me. But again, it's a home game, and I think this diminishes my play in somewhat. Not trying to make excuses. I learn by putting these vlogs together, just as I hope some of you can learn. And again, I really appreciate all your comments because it really helps me grow as a player. Looking forward to LA Casinos opening back up. They're open outdoors. The wait lists are huge. So we're just doing our home game. My room in Ventura County, California is open outdoors, the California games only, which means blackjack, pie gow, and that sort of thing. There's no poker. I'm just really looking forward to getting back into the casino poker scene. Anyways, looking back down at this hand, after I raise to 36, we get Miracle Mike come along. Any 2 Dave's going to play, and we're going to go 4 ways to the flop. I think my graphic's off a little bit. We have about 150 in this pot. Anyways, the flop comes down 10 Jack 8 rainbow. Pretty connected board. But nothing that I should have to worry about with an overpair here. So I'm first to act. It's a question of what size bet should I assemble. I'd love Ace Jack to come along. I'd love a straight draw to come along. No flush draws are going to come along. Jack 10 could get there. So I do have to be a little bit concerned about that. So anyways, I put a bet of $80 into the pot, about half the pot. And again, you know, targeting anybody with a 9, I have the queens pretty locked up, so unlikely anybody's holding a queen. So we're just going to see what's going to happen here. So the player to my left, this again is the player's first time playing. He thinks about it for a while before making the fold. Miracle Mike's going to fold. And then Any 2 Dave decides to jam. Now, he's got the name Any 2 Dave for damn good reason. This guy will play any 2 cards, but he is really a good, strong player. We probably have 20 years of history playing poker together. Back in the day, we played some very small game, small home game play together, and he plays the same today that he did back then. So he finishes counting, and he's got 252 in his stack, so it's going to be 168 to me to call. So I like my position because I have the 2 overs, but I do take a minute to think about it, right? Because Queen 9 got there, 7-9 got there. Unlikely 7-9's going to limp call my 3-bet pre-flop. Queen 9 potentially suited on the button. Makes sense. So does Jack 10 suited. Likely not Jack 8. And there's a favorite hand at this table, 10-8. Earlier in the night, Dave did jam with 2 pair and showed it. So this could be that play. Without a flush draw on board, I'm thinking of my beat here. But I have to also remember that Ace Jack, Queen Jack, King Jack is also a potential holding. So I make the call, and he does indeed flip over Ace Jack to my relief. We do hit a set of trips, not that we needed it. We were good all the way down. The board runs out, blessing us with some more Charlie chips. So again, ecstatic to take this one down. Any 2 Dave is now going to be called a single finger. But Dave, don't worry. My wife always benefits from my poker wins. Traveling to many exotic places, my fortune says. One of our favorite places to eat, that Chinese restaurant. So looking down on the button with pocket 10s in the next hand, starting stack about $900. I do a $15 open after the action had been folded around to me. We lost a player already, so I believe we're six-handed at this point in the night. So Jason to my left decides to call, and any two Dave will make the call. And we're going to go three ways to a pot with $47 in it, with the flop coming down 8 deuce 7 with 2 hearts. I like playing in position. Of course, who doesn't? Actions checked around to me, and I bet a little over half pot, $25. I do want to charge for any draws. Another very wet board. Flush draw on board, straight draw on board. I have the 10s locked up, so I'm not too worried about the top end. But any two Dave decides to make the call. Heads up with 97 in the pot. The turn comes down the king of spades. Definitely a scare card for me, but I'm not going to slow down here. Again, I wasn't 3-bet pre-flop, so unlikely he's got ace king or even king queen. So I think my 10s are likely good, and he's probably on a flush draw. So I bet out 60, and he makes the call. I think my bet sizing definitely got better here. River comes down to jack of spades. After he checks, I'm just going to check, because anybody who's going to call a bet here by me has me beat. So he shows 6-7. Okay. Second pair on the flop, third pair on the turn. I guess I read that one wrong and probably did leave a little value on the table. Hey, but it's okay. I think my bet sizing was better here, and my game is improving as the night goes on. All right, moving on to the next hand, looking down at 7-4 offsuit from the small blind. This is definitely a home game only play. The action's limped around. It's $1 to call. I'll put $1 in. In a casino, I fold this hand 100% of the time. Flop comes down king 4-5 rainbow, and to my surprise, the action's going to check all the way around. So maybe my pair of fours is good at this point. We get to see a free card, and that free card couldn't be any better. It comes down the 4 clubs. So we've hit trips now. Yeah, we have a bad kicker, but it's worth $5. So I put a $5 bet out there. Jason to my left makes the call, and any two Dave makes the call, and Raisin Randy is going to get out of the way. River comes the 10 of spades. We have 23 in the pot, 4 of us in there. This time I elect to size up just a little bit because I think my trips are good here. So with 38 in the pot, I make it 15. Jason's going to fold. Miracle Mike's going to fold. And any two Dave is out of the way as well. We're going to take this little pot down, continue the win. I'm on a little heater tonight. Everybody knows it. And we're going to move on to the next hand. This is about an orbit later. I got card dead there for a little bit, and I look at the best hand, pocket deuces. Yeah, not the best hand, but definitely worthy of a $2 limp here. And this is the hand that I had mentioned in the last vlog where Raisin Randy is important to the game. So up to this point in the last orbit, Randy had raised every hand pre-flop $25, probably 5 or 6 hands in a row. So this time we're a 5-way limp pot with $10 out there, hoping to get a miracle flop, which we do.
Excellent! 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 Excellent!
Deuce 6-7 with 2 diamonds on board. So we do hit our bottom set, and Raisin Randy's going to decide to lead out here, $25. So again, pre-flop 12.5x for the last orbit, and on the flop he throws a $25 bet into a $10 pot. So, you know, it looks like he's trying to protect against a flush draw. Maybe he has 8-9 or 4-5 or even like 5-8. This was a limped pot. So I put in the raise to $75. The action's going to fold back around to Randy, who's going to put in a very odd raise. He raises it to 125 total. So granted, he bet 25. I raised the 75, so the raise amount is 50. So he only has to raise by 100. It's just a strange bet. I don't know what to make of this. I mean, a very min raise. It seems weak to me. So if we're set over set, so be it. But limped, pot, all the way around, flush draw. I really don't know what to make of this. So I just decided to rip it all in. 263 effective is what Raising Randy has behind, and he snap calls. Shoot. All right, ace 4, let's fade a diamond. Thank goodness the poker gods are looking after us.
Bodacious creation.
Charlie chip stacks going to grow as we make a boat. Deuces full of 6s. I just gotta love this night. You know, it's one of those nights where things just work out. We faded our diamond, and we faded a lot of hands tonight, and that stack of Charlie chips just continues to grow in the right direction. We needed this. All right, looking at the last hand, we're $1,100 behind. Ace Jack in middle position. Flop comes down King 7-7 with 2 hearts on the board. Action checks around. Turn comes the ace of spades. I'm going to take a stab at it, betting half the pot for $10. I'll get 1 caller. Deuce of diamonds on the river doesn't change a thing. $15 for value in this one. Down bet just a little bit, hoping to get a crying call out of a king or a worse ace. I guess an ace would be a chop here. Aces and 7s with a king is what I say when I turn my hand over. He shakes his hand no, and we're going to take down the final hand of the night. I appreciate you guys being here. Love all the comments. Again, don't forget to like and subscribe, and we'll see you next time.